views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Open 2.0. I'm your host, Taylor Pachowski, and I'm joined by some members of the Leaders of Tomorrow, a group formed in our school, Westchester Square Academy, with the intention of taking a hands-on role in our education and finding ways to improve our community. The Leaders of Tomorrow have been in the process of creating a food drive and has managed to collect a ton of food to be given to a shelter in the Bronx. Hi guys! My first question is, what does Leaders of Tomorrow mean to you, and what compelled you to join the group?
Well, what Leaders of Tomorrow mean to me is just like a family and a community, a group in which we could like speak up and advocate for ourselves, and not only for ourselves but also for other people. Um, my reason for being in this group is because I feel that all of us together could help other people like get out of their comfort zone and actually realize that whatever like idea or issues that they have is important, like no matter how minimal it is or no matter like if other people don't think it's important, it is because it comes from you. Like if it bothers you, if you want to make something to change it, then people should really pay attention to that. So that's why we use this group for, to encourage others to use their voices, to stand out. And yeah, you say speak what's on their mind basically.
What was your experience like creating a food drive? Did you reach the goals you set out to achieve?
I want to say that I think starting the food drive, first of all, it was a new member's idea, which just goes to show that like it's wonderful the space that we created where new members can share an idea and it can be taken this far. Because it was really, it's really good representation for him, and to go through the process of advertising for it, figuring out the mechanics of how to collect the food and where to give the food to. It's all things that we've had a little bit of practice with, but we never really know what we're doing, kind of. We kind of just go with the flow and do what we can, and it turned out amazingly. I mean, like, you guys can talk about the turnout of food and the turnout of helpers. I believe we had like 13 to 15 people helping out with carrying food.
Yeah, Brie, you can talk like a little more about the how we organize this since like you took all the notes and everything. How do you feel?
Yeah, sure. In terms of like the turnout, it was like it went stellar. Like it was better than I expected it to be, and ultimately like we definitely got a lot more people. When into you had Miss Callahan talking about like the amount of food we got in comparison to, especially to like past events like this in which we've tried to have like drives and stuff like that. um you know the all everything from like the advertising of the actual event to putting the event together to ultimately just hitting that end goal really went like a lot more smoothly than I guess everyone ultimately expected.
I definitely, sorry, I definitely agree with that. And going back to what Kayla said, I feel that that's one thing that really like identify our group is like how comfortable people feel that we started this group when we were freshmen, right? But we don't have any more power or like a higher position just because we were, I guess, the pioneers, if that's how you call it, from the group. We give like the same opportunities to everyone, so it's like this goes to show how, as Kayla said, how comfortable people feel like speaking up even if this is their first year. in the group. So I feel like that was like a great thing that we all did it together. And it was really nice to see when we were in the shelter how we were all like telling him like, oh, thank you. His name is Shaw. And we're like, thank you for this idea because it was amazing. Like we all helped, but it was his idea and it went great.
What else has the Leaders of Tomorrow achieved as a group over the years?
I'll take this one. So ultimately, over the course, since it's been founded for 4 years, so ultimately we've bound to have achieved a lot. We've done things along the lines of dances. We have done other forms of charity work, such as our Valentine's Day Candygram. We have done more educational events. We have done a poetry workshop in which we've had a published poet come in. We've had a career fair in which we've had people of all sorts of different careers, people you would have even expected to come in, actually come in and really like give us an experience we probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere else, especially in consideration of the fact that that career fair was virtual. That work was outstanding. So yeah.
What would you say to those who want to create a group like the Leaders of Tomorrow in their school or workplace?
Okay, so I'd say that if you want to have, it's important to have a voice, as students in things that you want to do. You want to take it into your own hands, and if you want to create like a leaders group in your school, you want to make sure that you don't shut down people's ideas. You create that safe space. Maybe come up with a system for talking, the classic one mic and respectful and things like that. And an important thing that we learned throughout the years is follow through. So coming up with ideas and then and figuring out an action plan and assigning tasks to people and following up on those tasks and then completing the actual event. So definitely like just creating stuff like that. If it's not events that you guys want to do and it's more just ideas and things in your community, totally like do your own research and bring it to the group and bounce ideas off each other. As a team, you have no idea the power that you have within a group of people. You may think that you may not be able to do it in your own mind, but then you talk to people and then it just blossoms out of nowhere.
I definitely agree with that. One thing that is really important is trusting each other, right? Maybe as Kayla said, like one idea can sound so crazy, like how in the world are we gonna like execute this? But I assure you that if in a group you have 5 people, 10 people, if each and every one of you put effort and dedication into that idea, it will happen. You guys will make it work. So just that determination and hard work and everything is going to be possible.
Why do you think it is important to help out wherever we can in our community through food drives and other means?
Yeah, I wanted to answer this one because with the food drive being so fresh, you just feel that gratefulness high of helping your community and helping people. So I wanted to share something that we learned today as our connection to the food drive place. He shared how there are so many people. Like you can take the amount of people that you think need help, and there will always be more. So every little thing that you can do to help out is important and it holds value. So if you come with just that compassion and that gratefulness, not just in times of Thanksgiving and the holidays when we're feeling especially cheery, it's throughout, your entire life, the entire year, just bringing that compassion and that kindness to your neighbor and to people who need it and who are less fortunate than you are. I mean, you have to take time and have the introspection to look at yourself and be grateful for the things that you have and be like, I can give this to this person.
So it's incredibly important.
It's the season of giving back, as you stated. What do you personally plan on doing to ensure that you're doing your part?
Oh, I would like to answer this one. So it connects to what Kayla said, and also, I don't know, Bree, if you remember earlier when when we were making our way back from the shelter to the school, I was telling Brianna that it's like after having that conversation, it was like, oh, they told like they were telling us, like as Kayla said, how many people, like you can help as many people as you want or as you can take, but there's always going to be more. And we were having a conversation on how ungrateful we can be sometimes. Like we have a roof over our heads, we have food, even though if we don't like it sometimes. We are in a really good situation compared to other people living in the streets. Like I remember Brianna telling me, like, I'd be really cold only in 10 minutes in this weather, but imagine people to actually have to live here the whole day. And it's crazy to me how ungrateful we can be sometimes. So I'll say that, like, just try to help as much as you can, even if you think it's something small. It will mean the world to those people who actually need it. So, and again, like, don't wait for a special holiday, as Kayla said. If you need it, like, if you feel it in your heart, right, in that moment, and you know you can help, go ahead and do it, because th- those people may not be expecting it, but it will mean the world to them, and it can help them a lot, even if it's something so small. And just be grateful for what you have, because again, like for you it might not be a lot, but you're definitely in a way better situation than all the other people.
Sorry. One more thing. Um, it's not always about like the other person. Like you may be thinking like to yourself, you wouldn't say this out loud, you wouldn't dare, but oh, I have to help these other people. But you don't even realize how good it feels to do that. How good it feels to be kind. How good it feels to be grateful for what you have, and then and share that and do your best. That feels good, and that makes you feel good. And I bet you can find a scientific study that shows that it creates the happy chemicals in your brain. So
As a high school student, what issues in our city do you wish had more attention? What can we do to bring more awareness to these causes?
Brie, you want to take that one?
Okay, so of course, especially growing up in this generation, we're often like bombarded with a lot of issues that a lot of other past generations didn't have to face. For example, this is one of the bigger ones. Black Lives Matter. That is something other generations probably wouldn't have dreamt of dealing with on the scale that it was brought to like these recent years. Um, but in terms of causes, there's a lot of intersectionality between a lot of the causes that we often tend to overlook. Such as going back to this event we held today, there are many issues with teen homelessness due to a bunch of these different overlapping issues. You know, do bad households, complete like neglect for themselves, like mental health. You know, uh, being in the LGBTQ community, just generally existing as the way you do, teen pregnancy, things like that. And ultimately, I think when it comes down to awareness, I think the best thing you can do is go on to indulge and educate yourself in these issues so that you can proceed to when given the chance.
Thank you. That's it for today's episode of BronxNet Open 2.0. Thank you guys so much for sitting down and educating our viewers about the values of the leaders of tomorrow. And thank you for watching.
Thank you for having us.